Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, Angela Yee and Charlamagne are on vacation during the pandemic. Me, I'm not. I have 5 kids, so I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning anyway. So I'm up. So I love talking to the people. And we have a special guest on the phone lines right now, who I love because he's my brother. But I every time I speak to him like this, that means something happened. And that's the sad thing. We have attorney Benjamin Crump on the line. Good morning, attorney. How's it going, man?
Envy, so honored to be with you. I wish it was for a better reason than this, because this reminds me so much of what happened in your hometown of New York 5 years ago with Eric Gardner. Correct. And I Can't Breathe. And now we have a I Can't Breathe case again in 2020 dealing with George Floyd.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it. You represent the family of George Floyd.
Yes, sir. And
now break down the facts of what happened. You know, we've been hearing all these different reports. I know what I've seen on that camera, but break down the facts of what happened.
Yeah, you know, Envy, it's really clear because we have video. We have what we call ocular proof that nobody has to interpret it for us. And when you look at that video, Envy, you don't see him posing a violent threat to any police officers or anything. In fact, we have been getting a lot of cell phone videos submitted to our office. Businesses have surveillance videos and restaurants that show us the whole picture. And nowhere have we seen where he posed a threat to the police to justify, Envy, the fact that they had him face down in handcuffs and the police officer put his knee in his neck, not for 1 minute, not for 2 minutes, not for 3 minutes, not for 4 minutes, not for 5 minutes, not for 6 minutes, not for 7 minutes, not for 8 minutes, but for 9 minutes. George Floyd is begging for him to take his knee off his neck, saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And the officer offers him no humanity. I mean, you had citizens out there, Envy, that were saying, take your knee off his neck, you're gonna kill him. I mean, it was the police escalating the situation while the people who were not trained in de-escalation was trying to de-escalate it, and you watch your heart broken. And when I talk to America, I tell them, take out your cell phones, hit the stopwatch for 9 minutes, and just let the time pass. And as the time passes, think about if a person had their knee on your neck and you couldn't breathe, and you kept saying, please take your knee off my neck, and you're struggling to breathe, but they don't, and you suffocate and die, then you will understand the last 9 minutes of George Floyd's life and why it is so tragic and why this is murder.
It absolutely is. Now, what started the situation? What made the police come? Like, what call was that? Because at first we heard it was scamming. At first they said he was on top of his car. What was that first initial call for?
You know, the first initial call for was allegedly forgery. And as we find out more, forgery is talking about a $10 bill may have been fake. So there's no evidence that he ever did anything wrong because they never proved anything about the $10 bill was fake, or if it was fake, that he would have knew about it. How many people would know if they had got money and it wasn't real? How many of us are checking money when we get change from a store? So it's just unbelievable that he was killed because he was accused of a non-violent crime, but yet the police came and used excessive lethal force to kill him, which is a lot, Envy, like Eric Gardner, when you think about it, selling Lucy cigarettes, which is a non-violent crime, but then the NYPD come and they use excessive lethal force where that brother ends up dead. And now here we are in 2020, and he ends up dead. And I think this is far worse in many regards because the officer is on his knee and the public is out there pleading with the police, just take your knee off his neck, Envy.
It's such a sad situation, you know, watching that video. and me and my wife watched it together, and I watched it with my 16-year-old son, and we just couldn't understand it. And just to look at that officer's face, like it's like he got a hard on while people were telling him he was killing them. Like it's like his ego got to him, and he just gonna sit there like, no, I'm gonna keep my knee on his neck. And I just don't I can't get it. And I heard George screaming, you know, I can't breathe. He was screaming for his mother. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm sure you spoke to his mom. What was the family's feeling for watching that, especially his mom?
Well, unfortunately, his mother is deceased, and it's so sad that week was her 2-year anniversary of her death. And so it was already emotional. And so he have his brothers and sisters and his children. He has 2 children, 2 daughters, one 6 years old, one 22 years old, and he has 6 brothers and sisters who loved and adored him. And it's just been heartbreaking for them. I mean, they can't even accept it as real, because they said George was like a gentle giant. He was a all-star athlete. He played basketball in high school. They went to the state championship. He played for the University of South Florida. He was just somebody who they said you could not love George. Everybody loved him. He would always keep everybody laughing. He was like so engaging. And the people in Minneapolis, everybody says that about this guy. And for them to kill him in this manner, when there is no scintilla of evidence that demonstrates that he posed a threat to these police officers, I'm demanding, Envy, for them to release the body cam video. Be transparent. We just saw the video. How much worse can it be? Release the video. Let us know what you were saying when you had your knee down there. And you notice, Envy, he has his hand in his pocket.
Right.
I was told they do that to apply more pressure when you're pushing down on the thigh. And so I just think it was deliberate what these officers were doing, because for 9 minutes, you can't do something coincidentally for 9 minutes. And the fact that at some point, when time passes and people are telling you to de-escalate, and he's saying, I can't breathe, you then have intentionally intended to cause harm and pain to him. And so in the law, when you intentionally do something to cause harm or bodily harm, you may not have meant to kill him. But if he ends up dying, then your actions was a proximate cause of his death, and you can absolutely be charged for murder. And when you look at this video, Envy, if it was you or I or anybody else, no question, it would be murder. Why are they treating the police like they're above the law? They need to arrest them now and charge them with murder.
I was going to ask you that. So the 4 of them got fired, but to my understanding, they're still getting paid and they still get their benefits and all of that. Is that normal?
Well, we understand right now they haven't lost their pensions and their benefits, but they haven't clarified that point for us yet. They just said they're all terminated. They're apparently in the police union thing, there's a whole process you have to go through to lose your pension. And so we're going to keep pressing on that.
Now, I was going to ask you, most people don't know that. What's the difference between manslaughter and murder? And should they be charged with murder? And can they be charged with murder?
I believe that he could be charged with murder who kept his knee on his neck. Now, a lesser included offense of murder is manslaughter. So he can reach for the top, but also include the lesser included, which they do on brothers all the time. Right. They go for the top, and if they don't get you on murder, they say, okay, we got manslaughter, we still got you for 15 to 20 years or whatever the case. And the biggest difference, Envy, between murder and manslaughter is the element of intent. It almost reminds you of Ahmaud Arbery, because you have to have what we call malice or forethought, evil intent, evil will, to be convicted of first-degree murder. And so in this scenario, I just don't know how you can say he didn't have evil intent when a man is begging you, telling you, right, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And he says it repeatedly, and you still deliberately don't even ease up. How is that not intentional? You have made a deliberate, conscious decision that you're just gonna not extend him any humanity.
Now we also see the officer wearing this hat that says "Make whites great again." Is that a true picture?
I don't know, Envy, and so I know there are a lot of people out there who put up fake stuff like this. So until we can absolutely authenticate that, we're probably not going to affirm that that's him.
Okay. Now, also they said that he was resisting arrest, right? And we seen videos come from the store that looked like he was complying. It looked like they walked him over. He was complying. And I spoke to an officer today, a friend of mine, and he was like, I'll be honest with you, Envy. He says once his hands are behind his back and they're in cuffs, there's nothing anybody can really do. They said unless he's some kung fu expert and gonna jump up and kick me in my head to kill me, he said, I'll be honest with you. There's nothing he can do. There's no way they should have that much force. So was he, from what we know, was he resisting arrest at all? Was he resisting arrest?
There's nothing that demonstrates to us or anybody I have seen to say that he was resisting arrest. But what I want them to do is to release their body cam videos. I mean, if you want transparency and you want to be above board, then go ahead and do the right thing. And the right thing literally is to, let's hear what they were saying when they were down there on his knee. Because, why are we paying for the body cameras if we can't see what they recorded when there's a controversy?
Why won't they release it? What's the problem with releasing? What's they saying? Why won't they release it?
Envy, it's in every case. They always say it's an ongoing investigation. And when they say that, what that tells me, they just trying to figure out a way to justify the unjustifiable. Nothing else.
Now, when do they say that? What are they saying when these officers will be brought up on charges? Are they saying what the next step is? Because they fired him fast, but now these officers haven't been charged yet. They're still walking around. What's next?
Day 4, they haven't been charged, and we got to continue to demand immediate arrest because the district attorney, it shouldn't take that long to establish that there's probable cause in this video to arrest them. Because every people in our community, they have far less probable cause than a video.
Right.
They can justify arresting us every day and twice on Friday. Right. But with police, the rules change and they say, oh, we got to just investigate. We got to make sure we have all the evidence. But you got a video, man.
Now people are upset. People are tired. People are feeling like the only way to change this is by civil unrest. People are tired of peacefully protesting because they feel like that does nothing because they continue to kill us. We seen it, you were just up here 2 weeks ago, he was doing what my kids do, running around the neighborhood. Somebody thought he was stealing somebody and took the law into their own hands and killed him. We seen it with Eric Garner. We seen it with so many individuals. This, George, what was he doing? Even if he had a fake bill. You know how many times I'm a DJ, people paid me with a fake bill? That doesn't mean I created it. That doesn't mean I bought it. That means I got it. Somebody got me. To the point where you arrest me and you put your knee on my neck for 9 minutes, people are pissed off. And part of my friends, people are like, fuck that. Like, enough is enough. Like, when do we draw the line?
Well, I will say you referenced Ahmaud Arbery, and because the people were outraged and they turned that outrage to a public outcry, I do believe that's why the wheels of justice started going more expeditiously. And so we got the prosecutor to charge the father and son murderous duo, and they charged the third person, Robbie, who was doing the video. But that's the people using their voice in a collective, unified manner. And I think with Breonna Taylor in Louisville, you had a similar incident where they have now made the police chief resign over that botched no-knock warrant where that innocent Black woman was killed in her own apartment.
Right.
And now I believe they're going to be charged because the people are raising their voice. We have to strike a match versus curse in the dark because we can make things happen. We don't know our strength and our power. Minnesota, as long as we keep protesting, and I don't know if you got to go start looting or destroying stuff, but just protesting, disturbing the peace every day, every night. That DA, that mayor gonna say, we want to restore some kind of calm to our city. All they want us to do is do what we would do in any other case. And so I believe they're gonna charge them, but they just are trying, if they can get out of it, not charge them. That's why we got to stay on them, Envy, because I'm cautiously optimistic based on what I see in the Arbery case, what I see in Botham Jones case, what I saw in Corey Jones case, where these police officers are getting convicted and they're sending them away. But it has to be us, we the people, collectively not letting our foot off their neck.
Absolutely. So for people out there listening right now, they're listening on the radio or they're watching this, what do you want people to do? How can people help? How can we help out there? What do you suggest? How can we help fight the fight, even though, you know, some people might be in Minnesota, but then some people might be in New York, some people might be in California. How can we help fight the fight from where we're at?
Well, I love what Chance the Rapper did in Chicago, and people with a voice can use their voice to start having rallies and protests, because that gets to Minnesota. Right. Then I know Ludacris and his wife went on social media and started using their voice to get other people who are not black people, but saying, where are you white good people? Why are you all silent? And the other thing we can do most importantly is keep emailing and calling the district attorney, Mike Freeman, who's going to make the decision whether to charge. His phone number is 612-348-5550. And we got
one more time. Give it to him one more time.
Okay, 612 Envy 348-5550, and demand justice for George Floyd. And we do have, I believe, an ace in the hole. The Minnesota Attorney General is a good brother named Keith Ellison. He was a former U.S. congressman. A lot of controversy because they said he supported this brothers too much was the controversy. But he is a person who has a track record of fighting for our community and uplifting the culture. So if that local DA has a conflict of interest somehow, then Keith Ellis, this African-American Attorney General, will get to prosecute this case. And so like in Ahmaud Arbery, we got the sister prosecuting the case, then we could have the brother in Minnesota prosecuting the case. And I want to believe, Envy, like you're a father and you're a father of children of color, I want to believe parents who have these positions, have children of color, are going to have life experiences that are in common with us. And so they would know how to represent the life of George Floyd, represent the life of Ahmaud Arbery, better than some of our white brothers and sisters who have a fish out of water experience when it comes to trying to defend the honor and the dignity of black people when they're killed, versus when they prosecuting us, they can always assassinate our character and say we deserve to be locked up and throw away the key. So that's why I'm cautiously optimistic. Keep our voices up. Justice for Floyd. Everybody called him Big Floyd and his family.
Right. And then my last question is, you know, I'm looking up the cops and I'm doing my, you know, my homework on these cops, and I'm realizing that a couple of them had cases before. I mean, one guy even sued and won some money, and they've had cases where it's similar. Like, it seems like they were racist cops due to their past history. I don't know how true it is, but looking at their history, it seems like they've been in this rodeo before.
Absolutely, and it looked like they have a history of alleged allegations of excessive force.
Correct.
They probably didn't have—
to minorities, to black people.
Yeah, to minorities. And so we didn't have evidence on video of those cases, apparently. But on this one here, nobody can look at that video and say that the amount of force they used was not excessive. And excessive that led to lethal force. I mean, they're going to try to say, and this is why we have to have an independent medical examiner come and do our autopsy after they finish with them, because they're already trying to say, Envy, what we saw in that video didn't kill him.
9 minutes on that man's neck?
Yeah.
9 minutes on that man's neck. Well, he wasn't fighting back. He was saying, I can't breathe. He was screaming for his mother. He was saying his stomach hurt. Please let me up. I'm not resisting. 9 minutes, and they saying that wasn't. So what was the reason that they say he died?
They haven't revealed that yet. They try to say he had a medical condition, but you know, I'm absolute certain when our medical examiner look at it independently with no bias, he's not an employee of the city of Minneapolis. He's not buddy with the police. He's going to tell the truth and the unadulterated truth. And once that comes out, I think everybody will be able to use their common sense and say, I don't have to have no medical degree to know that what you did was a proximate cause to his death, because the law doesn't say it has to be the only cause for the death. It says just a proximate cause for the death. It contributed to your succession of life.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? You know, I knew that too. And you know how I knew that? Because they didn't say he died at the scene. They said he died later on at the hospital. So it felt like they were setting something up. It felt like they were setting up to save their ass.
Yep.
Well, Attorney Benjamin Crump, I appreciate you for checking in. And you know, anytime you're on the front lines, you need us. If we can't be there, we are here as much as possible. You use us as much as you need to. And we are grateful and thankful for you being there for us anytime we need you, man. We really appreciate you, brother.
Hey, God bless you, Envy. Thanks for using your voice for the people, man.
God bless you, and God bless your family as well. And tell this Floyd family, you know, we're praying for them and condolences.
I certainly will. They're big fans of the Breakfast Club, man.
Tell them I said thank you so much, brother.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for checking in, bro.
Okay.